Sean had to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that.
They say some secrets are too heavy to stay buried until the man who buried them starts selling the shovels. Right now, 50 Cent isn't just stirring drama, he's digging up explosive truths about Jay-Z's alleged connections to Diddy's darkest secrets. Word is, 50's not talking, he's buying, one mysterious tape at a time. And what's on those tapes? It's said to be more than just receipts. It's the kind of material that can turn a simple accident into a full-blown conspiracy. This whole storm kicked off after Diddy's controversial documentary. Remember how Jay-Z's footage mysteriously disappeared from it? That's where whispers started. But the real talk isn't about what we saw. It's about what they cut out. And why is 50 suddenly offering stacks of cash for missing footage that could change the entire story of hip-hop for the past 25 years? Insiders claim he's got evidence linking Jay-Z to something much bigger than business deals. We're talking about a network where NDAs aren't just contracts, they're silencing weapons. People are starting to ask questions they're too scared to say out loud. Like, why would there be 25 non-disclosure agreements connected to one plane crash, unless that crash wasn't just an accident? Now the names being mentioned are wild. Jaguar Wright's been shouting about Aaliyah's death being more than tragedy. Then you've got Cassie Ventura's shocking party stories where somehow Jay-Z's name is conveniently left out. Even Rihanna's early career has rumors swirling. People claim it began with a teenage girl being locked in an office until 3 a.m. These whispers don't just hint at a cover-up, they draw a disturbing picture of power, silence, and control that could shake the industry to its core. Picture this, a whole machine where Jay-Z isn't just a rapper who made it big, he's the one calling the shots on who even gets to make it big. And Beyonce, she's not just the superstar wife, she's the enforcer, the one making sure the chosen ones keep their mouths shut. The leaks are hitting faster than ever. Lawsuits are stacking sky high, and the only thing crawling slower than justice right now is Diddy's prison sentence, which just last week mysteriously got shortened. Coincidence? Or is someone making sure he doesn't start talking too soon? Because here's what everyone's whispering. When those remaining tapes finally drop, the throne won't just be empty. It'll be burning to ashes. The first real crack in this whole cover-up came when 50 Cent didn't just point out Jay-Z's missing footage from Diddy's Netflix doc. He laughed about it. That viral deepfake clip of Jay-Z's face, edited onto Lionel Richie's old music video, captioned, "This the message Jay-Z sent me when he realized he's not in the Diddy doc," wasn't just some random joke. It was a coded message. See, 50 doesn't troll just to play around. When he posts, it's because he's sitting on something real. And the fact that Jay-Z's team hasn't sued or even denied any of it, that silence says everything. When Sean Combs' The Reckoning dropped on December 2nd, 2025, everyone noticed the same thing. Jay-Z's name wasn't missing by accident. That wasn't sloppy editing. That was deliberate. It wasn't just an edit. It was a full-on scrub job. Sources close to the production claim Jay-Z's legal team had been in contact with Netflix weeks before the documentary dropped. But the real question isn't whether they pushed the streamer to cut him out. It's what they were so desperate to hide that they'd rather leave a gaping hole in the story than let the truth slip through. And the timing? Way too convenient. Just last week, Diddy's sentence got tweaked again, trimming another 9 days off his release date. Now it's May 25th, 2028. Crazy, right? Every time new leaks hit the net, his sentence somehow gets lighter. People are starting to wonder if someone high up is quietly making sure he keeps his mouth shut until the right moment. What's really being whispered behind closed doors isn't about Diddy's 2 solicitation charges. Those are just distractions.
As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom.
The real noise is about the charges he beat, the ones that could have buried him for good. We're talking racketeering, trafficking, and other crimes so heavy they don't just destroy reputations. They erase them completely. And still, Jay-Z's name never popped up in that courtroom. Not once. Not even as a witness. That's wild considering how long their paths have been tangled. Since the No Way Out era. Since those wild nightclub shootouts. Since back when both of them realized the game stopped being about music and turned into a battle for power. But this is where things stop adding up. And that's what's making everyone nervous. When Cassie Ventura's explosive lawsuit dropped back in 2023, the one where she described being forced into those infamous freak-off sessions with male performers while Diddy allegedly watched, one name was suspiciously missing: Jay-Z. Not listed as a participant, not a witness, not even a bystander. But here's where it gets messy. People who were actually in those rooms, folks who later signed quiet settlements, are saying something totally different. They claim Jay-Z was there. Not every time, but enough times to raise serious questions. Enough to make you wonder what else got buried under piles of legal threats and multi-million-dollar hush payouts. Because in 50 Cent's documentary, there was one clip that made jaws drop. Footage showing Diddy's lawyers in full panic mode inside a hotel room the night before his arrest. They were yelling about loose ends, and not just one. Plural! That means more than one person could be involved. So who else were they worried about? But the biggest clue isn't just what made it into the film. It's what went down after it hit Netflix. Within 48 hours of the documentary's release, 3 major moves happened, lightning fast. First, Diddy's legal team fired off a cease and desist to Netflix, claiming the footage was stolen and calling the whole project a shameful hit piece. That kind of speed doesn't come from damage control. It comes from fear. Second, 50 Cent shook the internet when he posted, and then quickly deleted, a screenshot of a text conversation with the caption, "They offered me 10 to cancel it. I said 20. No names, no context, just a chilling implication. Someone was ready to drop millions to make the documentary vanish. And that wasn't just talk. It sounded like straight-up hush money. Then came the third move. A source deep inside Roc Nation, who demanded to stay anonymous, told a reporter that Jay-Z had been glued to his phone with his lawyers ever since the documentary aired, but not to file lawsuits. Oh no! The insider claimed the calls were all about damage control, and not the kind handled in courtrooms. We're talking pressure behind the scenes, the type that makes people rethink what they're willing to say out loud. Now here's where it gets even more suspicious. The last time Jay-Z spoke publicly about any of this was way back in December 2024, when he addressed the Jane Doe lawsuit. You remember the one accusing him and Diddy of assaulting a minor. His statement called the allegations heinous and a blackmail attempt. But notice, that wasn't a denial, and it sure wasn't an alibi. It was just finger-pointing, claiming the accuser wanted money. And if you've been following how these scandals unfold, you already know. That's exactly what people say right before the proof surfaces. The respectable billionaire, the so-called conscious rapper, the family man. That's the image Jay-Z built brick by brick. And standing right beside him, Beyonce, the global icon whose empire is built on female empowerment. But now people are starting to whisper, how can a woman who preaches independence and justice allegedly help silence other women who say they've been hurt by the same machine that made her rich? You can see the cracks forming. It's no longer just about what Jay-Z may have done. It's about what Beyonce knows, and more importantly, what she's choosing to keep hidden. But here's where things get even weirder. The way the whole industry's been shifting since that documentary dropped. This isn't just PR cleanup anymore. There are real moves happening behind the scenes. Diddy's prison release date keeps changing, always in his favor, and always just enough to make everyone wonder who's pulling strings to keep him quiet. Then, only 3 days after the doc premiered, another Jane Doe stepped forward with a brand new lawsuit against Diddy. This one mentioned an unnamed male celebrity co-conspirator, and the description matches Jay-Z perfectly. Same age, same height, even the same scars from that stabbing incident back in 1999. The filing's sealed tight, but insiders swear the details are way too spot on to be a coincidence, and still, silence from Jay-Z's camp. No denial, no fiery statement, nothing but quiet. And that kind of silence doesn't sound like strategy anymore. It sounds like something closer to admission. But the most chilling part isn't the lawsuits, the rumors, or even the missing footage. It's the pattern. Every time a news story drops, Jay-Z's name hovers just out of reach. Never mentioned directly, but always close enough to keep people guessing. It's like a shadow that keeps following him, one he just can't shake. And let's not forget about those other tapes. Not the ones Netflix aired, but the ones 50 Cent's been quietly shopping around. Word is, he's offering top dollar for footage that could make the whole industry tremble. Insiders claim these tapes feature more than just rappers. There are celebrities, athletes, even politicians caught in the mix. Because apparently Diddy didn't just film his own parties, he filmed everyone's. So if Jay-Z shows up on even one of those recordings, that's not just bad optics. That's total destruction. We're not talking about a man caught slipping. We're talking about someone who spent 3 decades building a flawless image, so airtight that every scandal just seemed to bounce off. But if those tapes are real, that image might finally crack wide open. Because when you really look at the key moments in Jay-Z's rise, the timing starts to feel too perfect. Late 90s, Biggie's gone, Diddy's shaken, and suddenly Jay-Z's career skyrockets. Then 2001 hits, Aaliyah's tragic plane crash shakes the industry. And right after that, Beyonce's solo career takes off like a rocket. By 2005, Rihanna gets signed at just 16, and history repeats itself. Another young star, another convenient shift in the spotlight. There's a rhythm to it all, one that looks less like coincidence and more like replacement. And the ones who've tried to speak up about it, they either go quiet or they vanish. Jaguar Wright wasn't the first to disappear after questioning what really happened to Aaliyah. She's just the first to come back furious when she starts connecting dots, like how Jay-Z and R. Kelly were tight right up until Aaliyah's passing, or how their joint Best of Both Worlds album suddenly got buried the second R. Kelly scandals exploded. It paints a dark picture. You start to realize this might not just be about one man's alleged sins. It could be about an entire system, a machine that buries the bodies, replaces the stars, and only swaps out names on the album covers while the same people pull the strings behind the curtain. And that weird, cryptic rant, "Oof, I don't get what you got in your neural link. You'll never outthink me, ever," sounded more like a threat than a joke. It's like someone out there doesn't want this story connecting too many dots. But here's where it gets even more twisted. While everyone's been fixated on Diddy's court drama and 50 Cent's mysterious leaks, there's been another conversation brewing quietly in the background, one focused on the other names said to appear on those tapes. Not Diddy's.
Weirdo, don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me, ever.
Not randoms, but high-profile names that could explain exactly why Jay-Z's camp seems so desperate to keep everything locked down. See, the thing about these so-called freak-off parties isn't just that they allegedly happened, it's that they were documented. And not just by Diddy, but by security guards, assistants, and other insiders who've since scattered across the industry, working for new bosses and new labels. But here's the real danger. If even one of those people decides to speak, everything could come crashing down. Because the question isn't just whether Jay-Z was in those rooms, it's whether he was actually running them. And if that turns out to be true, then suddenly every hit record, every Grammy, every billion-dollar brand starts to look less like the fruit of hard work and more like hush money, the kind paid to keep the truth buried deep. But that kind of silence doesn't last forever, and lately, it's starting to crack. In just the few weeks since the documentary aired, 3 of Jay-Z's longest-running business partners have quietly cut ties with him. No big statements, no drama, just deleted tweets, canceled collabs, and a whole lot of distance. That's not coincidence. That's self-preservation. And when a reporter reached out to Beyonce's camp for comment about the new Jane Doe lawsuit, their reply wasn't a denial. It was a threat, a cease and desist letter so intense it got leaked before it was even delivered. That kind of move doesn't say this is false. It screams, stop digging before you find something real. But the scariest part? This story isn't just about what Jay-Z might have done. It's about what Beyonce may have been helping him cover up. Because one thing has never made sense through all these stories. Why do the women around him, the ones he's supposed to protect, always seem to end up as collateral? Aaliyah's name still echoes through every whisper about those early days. Cassie's lawsuit reopened old wounds. And now Rihanna's name is back in the mix. People asking why a 16-year-old girl from Barbados was flown out on a private jet to sign a record deal at 3 a.m. with no parents, no lawyer, just Jay-Z and a stack of papers. That's not just suspicious. That's a timeline that raises way too many questions. And this time, it feels like the answers might finally be closing in. And the answer's always the same, because that's how the game's played. But here's the thing about systems built on silence and secrets. They only work until someone stops following the script. And right now, 50 Cent isn't just refusing to play along. He's flipping the entire board. His new rule? Everything's for sale. Even the truth. Especially the truth. Because once it's out, nobody can buy it back. But the real twist, the one that's making insiders sweat, isn't just about the tapes, the lawsuits, or Jay-Z's name creeping closer and closer to the spotlight. It's the timing. Because Diddy's appeal is right around the corner. And 50's next big drop is coming just as fast.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
The streets are saying those tapes don't just have dirt. They've got evidence so explosive it could end careers overnight. This isn't just the kind of stuff that gets someone canceled. This is the kind of revelation that erases people from the industry altogether. Whole legacies, gone like they never existed. And that's where the tension's boiling over. Who's gonna make the first move? Will Diddy start trading secrets from behind bars, trying to doing what he's always done, making sure the right people vanish before the truth ever hits daylight? Because if history's shown us anything about men like Jay-Z, it's that they don't lose. They adapt. Every time the walls close in, they just rearrange the board. And right now, the pieces are shifting fast. Alliances breaking, stories leaking, and one thing's for sure. When this game finally ends, someone's walking away with everything, and someone else is getting buried right alongside all those secrets. The real question is, who's who? Because the deeper you dig into this mess, the clearer it gets. This story was never just about what's happening right now. It's about a pattern that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Let's strip away the PR spin and talk about how Jay-Z's rise really played out. Not the polished business genius version, but the one that starts in 1999 when he caught that infamous stabbing case and somehow walked free on a plea deal. The so-called victim recanted years later, and Jay-Z came out looking untouchable. Then, only 2 years after that, tragedy struck. Aaliyah's plane went down in the Bahamas. And suddenly, Beyonce, who'd been quietly sitting in Destiny's Child's shadow, was everywhere. New look, new sound, new spotlight. Timing like that doesn't just happen. It aligns. And then fast forward to Rihanna's big break. A 16-year-old girl from Barbados flown in on a private jet. No visa, no parents, no lawyer. Just Jay-Z, a late-night meeting in New York, and a contract signed around 3 a.m. That's not business as usual. That's a pattern. These moments aren't coincidences. They're transitions. Each exit clears the stage for the next act to rise. And when you start lining it all up, it looks less like luck and more like a strategy that's been running the industry from the shadows for years. One where power doesn't just shift, it's transferred. Oh, buy his way out with information too powerful to ignore? Will 50 unleash the final piece that blows the whole story wide open? Or will Jay-Z do what he's always done? Move quietly, pull the right strings, and somehow walk away untouched yet again? And the people who've tried to call this out? Let's just say Jaguar Wright isn't the only one who's had bad luck chase her after asking too many questions. What's bubbling to the surface now isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's a blueprint, a playbook showing how some of the biggest careers in music might not be built on pure talent, but on silence. And that silence, it's not just bought, it's enforced. Look at the Cassie Ventura case. That lawsuit vanished in 24 hours.
Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
Settled with no admission of guilt and no explanation. Or the Jane Doe who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of assault. She dropped her case out of nowhere, saying she feared for her safety. Then there's Aaliyah's family. Instead of demanding a full investigation into that plane crash, they quietly sued the record label, not the people behind the flight. When you line these stories up, they stop looking like coincidences and start to look like mechanisms, strategic moves designed to keep the right people silent, the right stories buried, and the right stars shining untouched. Each settlement isn't closure, it's a warning, a reminder that in this world, truth doesn't just cost money, it costs safety. And when you trace those lines, every name, every case, every mysterious fade into the background, they all loop back to the same powerful few. The ones who've spent decades convincing the world they're untouchable. But here's where things start heating up. While the public's glued to Diddy's court drama and 50 Cent's next big leak, there's another layer quietly unfolding behind the curtain. Something deeper, something coordinated, and it's starting to look like the real story isn't what's been exposed. It's what's still being protected. This next layer, it's about the ones who've benefited the most from this entire machine. Take Beyonce, for example. Her entire image is built on female empowerment. But for someone who's become the global face of women's strength, she's never once publicly questioned the treatment of the women who've allegedly been hurt inside her husband's circle. That silence is deafening. And look closer at Jay-Z's biggest business wins. Tidal, the NFL partnership, the billion-dollar empire. every major move seems to come right after one of his rivals fell. Biggie's gone, Aaliyah's gone, and now Diddy's the one getting hit with legal blow after legal blow, while Jay-Z somehow keeps walking away untouched. It's like every time someone else crumbles, he climbs higher. That's not just timing, that's strategy. Then there's Rihanna. Her entire early career was shaped under Roc Nation, with Jay-Z as her mentor and guide. But according to people who were in the room, that first contract meeting wasn't some glamorous moment. It was intense, even intimidating. They say he wouldn't let her leave the office until she signed. And now, all these years later, his name keeps circling back into new filings and fresh accusations. And still, he says nothing. No defense, no explanation, just silence. So for now, this is where we leave it. But this story, it's far from over. The tapes are still out there, the lawsuits are piling up, and the truth is creeping closer every day. The question haunting everyone now isn't if another secret drops. It's how many more are still buried. How many more women were silenced? How many more accidents were covered up? How many more deals were signed in the dark? And when the final secret comes to light, when there's no one left to take the fall, who's really going to be left standing? Because the throne isn't empty yet, but the way things are shifting, it's about to get real crowded, and whoever's the last one sitting might not just inherit the crown, they might go down with it. The air around this story is getting thicker by the day, and the silence from the top is only making it louder. So now we've got to ask, what do you think? Is Jay-Z directly pulling the strings behind all of this? Or is he just cashing in on a system that was built long before him but made him filthy rich? And what about Beyonce? Is she in on it? Or is she just the polished face of something way darker, standing beside the power while it plays out behind closed doors? And here's the biggest question of all. If 50 Cent's really sitting on tapes that could end careers and rewrite hip-hop history, why hasn't he dropped them yet? What's he waiting for? The perfect moment or the right price? The game's changing fast, and this story's far from done. We're just getting started. So tell us your thoughts. Drop your theories in the comments. Hit that like button. Share this video with everyone who's been following the saga, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because the next drop might just blow everything wide open.